The diner was almost empty when Ethan Walker walked in with his 7-year-old daughter, Molly. It was cold outside, one of those evenings where the sun sank behind the hills too early and left the world feeling lonely. Ethan worked long shifts at the mill, and tonight he was too tired to cook. He just wanted something warm for Molly before he took her home and tucked her into bed. He placed their coats on the booth by the window. Molly swung her feet under the table, humming to herself as she colored in the activity book the waitress had given her. Ethan smiled weakly, rubbing his eyes. He'd been working overtime for months, barely scraping by. Since Molly's mother passed 3 years ago, it had just been the two of them, Ethan doing everything he could to be both mom and dad, even when it nearly broke him. But tonight something felt strange in the air. The bell above the diner's door jingled. Ethan glanced up and saw 2 little girls standing there. They looked around 6, twins, identical except for their clothes. One wore a thin red sweater, the other an oversized denim jacket that hung off her shoulders. Their shoes were muddy and worn. Their hair was tangled and their cheeks were pink from the cold. But it was their eyes that made Ethan pause. Wide, lost, frightened. Hungry. The hostess walked toward them. Where are your parents, sweethearts? The twins exchanged a quick look, but neither spoke. We just want something warm, the girl in the red sweater whispered. The hostess sighed softly, glancing toward the manager. Sweetie, we can't seat you without. Before she could finish, the girl in the denim jacket pointed at Ethan's booth. Can we eat with you? Ethan froze. Molly looked up, startled, then turned to her dad. Daddy, can they? The twin girls stood silently by the door, shivering, waiting for an answer they clearly feared. Ethan pushed himself to his feet and walked over to them slowly, kneeling so he was eye level with both. Hey, he said gently, where's your family? Are you lost? Red sweater swallowed hard. No. Denim jacket shook her head. We don't have one anymore. Ethan felt something snap inside his chest. He motioned toward his booth. Come on, you can eat with us. The twins looked shocked, almost disbelieving. Then slowly they nodded. Ethan led them to the booth, lifting each girl onto the seat beside Molly. Molly immediately offered them her crayons. The twins stared at them as if they were precious jewels. When the waitress came over with her notepad, she frowned slightly. Ethan, everything okay? They're with us, he said firmly. All right then, she replied softly, understanding. The girls ordered the cheapest things on the menu, whispering each item as if afraid of being scolded. Ethan ordered them extra anyway. While waiting for the food, Molly talked to them cheerfully, but Ethan watched them closely. They ate like they hadn't eaten in days, fast, desperate, their little hands shaking. Halfway through the meal, Red Sweater's eyes filled with tears. Ethan leaned forward. Honey, what's wrong? And nothing, it's just, she wiped her nose with her sleeve. No one ever let us sit with them before. Denim jacket nodded, voice cracking. People think we're trouble. Ethan swallowed hard. You're children, you deserve kindness. They both stared at him, as if he were speaking a foreign language. After dinner, Ethan took them outside to talk while Molly finished her ice cream. The cold night wind bit at their thin clothing. Ethan quickly put his jacket around both girls. All right, he said softly, I need to know the truth. Where have you been staying? The twins exchanged a fearful look. Are you gonna send us away? Red Sweater whispered. No, Ethan said, I just want to help. Denim jacket took a deep breath. We've been staying behind the laundromat. Ethan's stomach dropped. How long? She hesitated. 3 weeks. Ethan closed his eyes briefly, steadying his voice before he spoke again. Where are your parents? This time, Red Sweater's voice broke completely. Our mom, she got sick. And Dad left, Denim jacket whispered. He said he'd be back. But he never came. Ethan felt dizzy. He had known struggle. He had known grief. But these girls, these tiny, hungry, shaking girls, had been fighting a battle no child should ever face. He crouched again, putting a gentle hand on each of their shoulders. "Listen to me," he said quietly. "You're not sleeping behind that building tonight. You're coming with me and Molly. I'll keep you warm. I'll keep you safe. And tomorrow we'll figure out what happens next." The twins burst into tears. Red Sweater threw her arms around Ethan's neck, sobbing into his shoulder. Denim Jacket followed, holding him as if afraid he would disappear. "You're not in trouble," Ethan whispered. "You're not alone anymore, I promise." That night Ethan brought them home. Molly made a little bed for them with extra blankets, placing her stuffed animals between them to protect them, she said proudly. Hours later, after everyone else was asleep, Ethan sat alone at the kitchen table. His bank account was nearly empty. His job barely covered rent and food. He was already struggling to give Molly everything she needed. But when he thought about those two girls shivering behind the laundromat, something deep inside him refused to let them go back to that life. He lifted his head slowly as the doorbell rang. At 2 in the morning. Ethan's heart jumped. He hurried quietly to the door. Standing on his porch was a man in a black coat, tall, sharp-jawed, tired. His eyes were cold, not from anger but from pain. "You Ethan Walker?" the man asked. "Yes." The stranger nodded. "I'm looking for two little girls, my daughters." Ethan's blood ran cold. The man looked past him into the dimly lit house. "Are they here?" Ethan stepped outside and closed the door behind him. "Who are you?" he asked, firm but cautious. The man exhaled shakily. "My name is Jonah Reed," he said. I didn't leave them. I was taken to the hospital after an accident. They told me my girls were taken by a state worker. When I got home and found the house empty," his voice cracked. "I've been looking for them for 21 days." Ethan stared at him. Jonah collapsed onto the porch steps, covering his face with trembling hands. "I just need to know they're alive." Ethan's throat tightened. "They're alive," he whispered. "They're safe, they're sleeping." Jonah sobbed softly into his palms. "I love them," he choked out. "I never abandoned them." Ethan sat beside him. After a long silence, he said, "Come inside, but quietly." They walked in. Jonah approached the little makeshift bed where the twins slept curled together. His shoulders shook as he knelt beside them. "My girls," he whispered, "Daddy here." Both children stirred. Red Sweater blinked sleepily. "Daddy." Jonah burst into tears. Ethan stepped back and watched the reunion, feeling relief, gratitude, and something painful yet beautiful swelling in his chest. But then something happened he didn't expect. When Jonah stood, wiping his tears, he turned to Ethan. "You saved them," he said. "I owe you more than I can ever repay." "You owe me nothing," Ethan replied. Jonah shook his head. "You don't understand who I am." Ethan frowned. Jonah slowly reached into his coat, pulling out a folded document. He handed it to Ethan. Ethan unfolded it and froze. Jonah Reed wasn't just a father. He was the owner of Reed Tech. A billionaire. One of the richest men in the state. Ethan stared at him, stunned. Jonah smiled faintly through tired eyes. "I don't care about money," he said. "I care about people who show my daughters kindness when no one else will." Ethan swallowed hard. The billionaire placed a hand on his shoulder. "Tell me what you need," Jonah said softly. "A better home, a better job, a safer life for your daughter. Whatever it is, you've earned it." Ethan stared at the twins sleeping peacefully, then at Molly curled up with her teddy bear. And for the first time in years, a weight lifted off his heart. Maybe kindness didn't just save others. Maybe it saved the giver too.